So just to clarify and make domain and range seem a little less demanding, there's three types of questions when you have a connected graph. There's the first two on the left. These are ones, and when I'm just talking about domain right now, I'll mention range in a second, and let me get off the mouse here. These two here go on forever in both directions. The arrows go forever left and forever right. So those are one type of question. If we're talking about the range, the arrows would go forever up and forever down, just like the bottom one. Then there's these two types of questions in the middle that have the arrows going forever in one direction. So the one on the top goes forever to the right, but doesn't go forever left. And then this one goes forever left, but doesn't go forever right. So one type of direction, and I'm talking about domain, but I'll mention range as well. Remember, domain is left to right on the x-axis because domain means x. Then the third type is between two numbers like these guys on the right-hand side. It's between -5 and 3, and that's it. It doesn't go any farther left or any farther right. So let's talk about the answers to these guys. If it goes forever in both directions, forever left and forever right, it's more clear it does it in the bottom diagram, but remember parabolas go a little farther left, a little farther right every time. And if it goes on forever, it actually hits -infinity to infinity. What would the domain be on this one? Somebody? Anybody know? So how far does this graph go left and right? It goes forever left and forever right. How do we say all the numbers in the whole wide world? It's an element of all real numbers. Perfect. Okay, similarly, what haven't I used? I'll just use red. For the range on this one, on the bottom one, it goes forever up and forever down. Sorry, my volume, hopefully you could hear me. Can you hear me better? So this would be y is an element of all real numbers. Okay, so that's one you're pretty happy with arrows to both directions because you get full marks for that and that. Now for arrows in one direction, I'm just going to talk about the domain for now. So on the left to right, x, the horizontal axis, you have one arrow here that goes forever to the right. Whenever you have that on the domain forever to the right, you write down x is greater than or equal to. If it's on the bottom diagram, forever to the left, you write down x is less than or equal to. Okay, so right on the number line means greater, and left on the number line means less than. And then you just put the number that it's greater than, so -5. So, and you should be able to see this on this graph. The domain is from -5 forever right. That means x is greater than or equal to -5. In this case, the domain is from 3 down. And how we write that in math language is x is less than or equal to 3. And you need to put x element of real numbers. Just don't want to move into the other one, x element of real numbers. Similarly, if you had the domain, or sorry, the range, and you had talking about, let's say this was 3 up, because in range, we're talking about up and down. This graph, the black graph, is from 3 up all the way down. And down in range language means less than. If it was up, the one arrow is pointing up, then it would be greater than range. And lastly, if you have a graph that's between two numbers and that's it, well, we went through that, and that might be the easier one, even though it looks the longest. It's all the values of x such that if it's between -5 and 3, you just write -5 and 3. And then you write your left center equals. If it's domain, write x. If it's range, write y, where x is an element of all real numbers. Okay, so hopefully that clarified a little bit. And there is another one here, but it does 99% of the time you're not going to have this. If you do have a vertical line, you'll see it on your homework. The domain here is just one number because all of these points on the line are at -3. They're 3 to the left, -3, 0, -3, 1, -3, 2, -3, -2. So the domain here would simply be x equals -3. That's not 99% of the time you're going to be seeing these guys. And I think that's all I want to record right now. We'll take any questions anyone has. Please ask.